Let's take a look at our next progression of our Breaststroke 11 and 1 series Scull. In our previous version, we explored this drill with a breaststroke kick and also with a snorkel. We're going to keep that breaststroke kick, but we're now going to release the use of the snorkel. So if your athletes are kind of struggling a little bit of getting a connection between the pull and the kick, we might suggest just going to a couple of iterations of this drill, just going back to that snorkel. Just kind of helps really connect everything really well. So let's go over the key points and what we look for with this drill. So we're going to start out here with our breaststroke kick. So what we want to see here is the heels are going to come up to the hips. And then we have a couple checks that we want to do. Now, in general, we kind of say this. The higher the heels can come up to the hips, the better overall this will be for the athlete's breaststroke kick. Now, keeping that in mind, we want to make sure that we're also aware of where are going to be some maybe potential physical limitations for athlete, whether that's going to be in areas of flexibility and mobility that we want to make sure that we're aware of and that the athlete's also aware of. Second thing here we really want to take a look at is going to be the width of the kick. Now, in general, we like to see that the pull and the kick really work together, so that way we can hit this great breaststroke line and travel flat and long through the surface, along the surface of the water. If we can keep these, let's redraw those, there we go. The more we can kind of keep the knees along the hip line, or even just outside, the better overall that'll be for the athlete. If we're too wide, then the arms and the feet don't work together. And if we're too narrow, we're going to really kind of limit that power that kick is going to be able to present. So being along the knees or just outside is just going to be okay. We'll take a look at it for our respective athlete here when we get to that point. Here, then, when those feet reach up their highest point, what we want to be able to do is turn those feet out, just like how we have here. Our goal here is to grab water on the inside of the foot and also on the inside of the calf. Well, then what we want to see is a downward presented kick right there. So, and we should kind of feel just like a little bit of a hip pop when we do that right there. So that's really a nice kick for our athlete. At the end of the kick, what we would like to see our athlete do is also squeeze those toes. So kind of an analogy is like squeezing an orange. If you want orange juice and we're squeezing only maybe about half the juice out, there's still more juice in there. So squeezing those toes will get the rest of that juice out, a little bit more out of that kick, but also allow the feet to rise up to the surface, meaning then what we can have is a great setup for our next kick. And then we are going to move up here to the arms, and we just want to see a skull out, palms facing out. And then what we really want to feel is the pressure of the water here along the palms and along the forearms as they go out. And then what we would like to see just a little bit more of here, our athlete's hands are actually a little bit flat, is a little flip of the wrist. Those hands here then turn in. We just then come back. When your athlete needs to take a breath, what we're going to want to see is just like this, lift up that head and then quickly take that breath and then get that head to be back into the water and then reset. Great job there. Take a look here just underwater, that kick. So just again, kind of here, checking out. Our right knee is basically on top of the hip line right there. Perfect. And then our left one, we are just a little bit outside here. So we would kind of encourage that athlete, bring that left knee in just a little bit more. Great job here turning those feet out. Got a good ability to catch water. Remember to kick downward. And then what we would like to see is just a little more of a squeeze out of those toes so that those feet rise up just a little bit more than they kind of currently are. And then just keep repeating that. Now, sometimes if your athletes are struggling with this kick and trying to find their overall
rhythm, just keep giving them at bats, and then when they finish 25, hey, really love what you did there on that first half. That second half, did you feel a little bit difference? So athletes may not right away be able to pay attention or understand, but when you give them that feedback, so that should be for subsequent iterations of the drill or what you're doing, for them to help be able to pay attention. So that's just a good remember to be engaged with your athletes. Here, take the breath and then go back down, sweep out. Again, no more than 11 and 1. There we go. Then return back in. We just kind of keep repeating that cycle. Good kick here behind us. That hip pop is something that we like to see and something that we stress. Now, your developmental athletes may not get that right away, but that'll be all right. And good movement right here. So just as we're kind of finishing up here, underwater, just again, a good sweep out. Feel that water between the palms and the forearm as everything is traveling. And then what we want to see is, again, just turn then inward. Perfect. Another thing here we want to watch the kick is that the knees do not want to come in under the body. The more we can kind of keep those knees along, lifting up, but if we see those knees kind of tucking in, it's going to give the illusion of that the heels are touching the hips, but there won't be any power behind the kick. So that'll be just something, again, to make sure that you're watching out for with your athletes. Overall here, if you found some great value out of this, be sure to drop a like and subscribe.